It's time for Losses Above Replacement, the best baseball podcast to grace your ears, with your hosts, Alex.
Gosh, I have so many questions. Also, where's my car?
Splash.
Strive to love something as much as my grandmother loves buying new crock pots.
And Mac.
If you've ever been to Boston, you know that they have amazing ice cream.
Coming to you from coast to coast, it's L.A.R.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Losses Above Replacement, the best baseball podcast to grace your ears. I am today's host, Alex Clark, joined by our very own MVP hopefuls in Ryan Splash Potts and Mathias Kurosaki. My main men, how are we doing on this Thursday? Very muggy day here. I see Splash has gotten a little bit red over there here, but you got something on your head there, YouTube viewers, you'll be able to see. But
yes. So for the podcast listeners, I do have a lobster plush on my head. Why? Because his name is Lobo, which is short for lobotomy. Because after watching the Braves pitching, I need a lobotomy.
They're doing great so far tonight. I mean, look, I've seen worse, but I'd say I'm doing all right. I had a fun night yesterday. Watched the Mets smack around the Phillies, and Nolan McLean is a certified stud. Also, I'll be back at Citi Field tomorrow evening to watch Joe and Tom. So I'm doing all right, I'd say. I wish the Mets knew how to play against the Marlins, but other than that, this is fun. Are the Mets back? I don't know. I'll reevaluate after we go on our 10-game road trip.
On the scale of the we're so back to it's so over, how far down the scale are you at here? Are you near the end of that scale here, or where everything is just going completely haywire?
Oh, it's the roller coaster 100% because that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's
especially this year. Like, I mean, they won 7 in a row after the All-Star break, and then proceeded to lose 14 of 16. So it's one of those things where they were 21 games over 500. Then they lost 14 of 17. Then they won 13 of their next 20. And then they lost 14 of their next 16. And now they've won, I believe, 8 of 11. So it's like, it's one of those like weird, I guess you'd call it a parabola. Shout out Alec Boehm, by the way. I hope you like that parabolic mic that really got in your way this week. They removed the mic, and the Phillies did not get another hit the rest of the game. So totally worth it, Alec.
Hey, at least we have the triangle of ownership in the NL East. The Braves still own the Mets. They won the season series again. The Mets still own the Phillies. They won 10 straight games against them at Citi Field. And the Phillies own the Braves.
So yeah, the National League East. What a world.
I mean, and then don't forget everyone's favorite in the Nationals. But with that being said here, we have some stuff to talk about here as we're getting to the end of August. We are just about a month away from the end of the season, which I hate saying because I just want more baseball. I think you guys can agree on that to some degree.
Agree.
But, I mean, maybe not Splash right now, but I understand. But with that being said here, I know we've talked a lot about the MVP race, especially in the American League, where right now, that's where the biggest debate is at, between Cal Raleigh of the Seattle Mariners and Aaron Judge of the New York Yankees. And we wanted to do, we were thinking about doing just the regular debate, all that fun stuff, but our very own Splash had a very interesting idea, and we're going to go along with this here because I think this is fun and it makes a different idea on how the MVP discussion itself works. Well, a lot of people still are very much on it is Judge or no one as the MVP. Judge is the MVP until someone does something that will never happen again. Well, something that has never happened here since Chex Notes a long time happened for Cal as he broke the catcher home run record and is still going. Because mind you, we're still in August. But with that being said here, a lot of people are still on the full train of saying that Aaron Judge is the only person who is deserving of being the MVP. So, Splash, I want to hand reins off to you for this part of this. It's like for this segment here.
Sure. So I am the Cal skeptic. Not really skeptic, I guess, but the low man on Cal of the podcast. So fellas, when I look at Twitter and I look at these takes that people have, I see that a lot of the Cal argument boils down to home runs, RBI, being a leader, and being a catcher. And I think to myself, well, who held the home run record before Cal? Oh, Salvador Perez back in 2021. 48 home runs, 121 RBI. Okay. So that's the all-time home run record for catchers until this season. And he did lead the American League in both home runs and RBI. He is the Royals captain. He's a legendary Royal. He will be in the Royals Ring of Honor, their Hall of Fame, whatever stand-in you wish. And he has a good defensive reputation. He has 5 Gold Gloves. I don't think he deserved any of them, but that's neither here nor there. Well, I would like to hear a Cal argument that is not centered around him having the catcher home run record or leading the league in RBI or defensive reputation. If you want to bring up stats from this year, perfectly fine, but I don't care that he won the Platinum Glove last year. That was last season. And the leadership stuff, because Aaron Judge is the captain of the Yankees. I think that the leadership, yes, I get the catcher part, but the leadership can be overplayed a little bit because Cal is the de facto, captain of the Mariners. Judge is the captain of the Yankees. Everyone's going to have their own piece. There's a million Mariners beat reporters that are like, Cal does this for the team. He galvanizes the team. There's a million Judge articles that do the same thing, and it's a different leadership style, whatever it may be. Yeah. So, fellas, the floor is yours.
Okay. So one of the things I want to bring up from at the very beginning of this here is that I don't think it's to be completely ignored. Like the home run record being for that, the RBIs here, because that is still very much a very important part of this discussion. Here is that he, as a power hitter right now, Cal is the number 1 power hitter in baseball. If you're looking at direct home run numbers and RBIs here, he has both of them here. And don't get me wrong, that's not the end-all be-all. Like, I will never say that is the end-all be-all, unlike, lots of video games that will say that's the end-all be-all. I think overall here that they need to be taken into account here, but also I think that's everything that we've talked about here going up into this year. I agree 100% that you can't just say, by the way, these are the baseball reference numbers as well for WAR, as well as the rest of the season. But I think right now what needs to be fully stated here is that a lot of what is going on here with Cal, a lot of what we've been talking about with him is that the leadership that he has brought has been something that has been very strong for him. But yes, you bring up a great point, Splash. Judge also is a strong leader too. We have seen that he is the captain of one of baseball's most historic franchises. We can't deny that at all either here. I do think, though, that the conversation is a lot closer than a lot of people are willing to give it to. Defensively, yes, Cal Raleigh is not the Platinum Glove he was last year. Is he still pretty darn solid? Yeah, I would say so. Here, I don't have the exact defensive metrics in front of me here, but what I can tell you is my eye test of what I have seen from him. What I have seen from him is strong defensive ability while being able to control and lead a pitching staff here. Am I going to say that Aaron Judge is not there? No. I don't like to just say that framing or catching these was directly off of stat that you're pulling up here. Those aren't the only things I like to look at, but I do want to make sure that they are known. Absolutely. He's still a top 10 catcher defensively. Here, is he absolutely number 1? No. I mean, Patrick Bailey's been insane this year. Like, let's be honest on that one here too. But I do want to bring up that Cal has been doing all this while catching. It's like while catching almost every single day with only a few days of rest here, and has been the most productive offensive player in the game. And I don't feel like that's too hard to say at this point. Do I think that Aaron Judge has been at that level? Yeah, he's been good defensively. I'm not going to say he's not been. But the main thing I want to bring up here, and this is something that can't really be quantified, and that's partial. I'm not going to say that's where the argument falls short at, but it's where things do feel a little bit different because it makes it a lot more of a subjective conversation here. And that is what I like to call the positional hierarchy. Positional hierarchy isn't something that can be truly quantified. It is a mixture of how hard is it to play the position that you play? How much value does that position give you over another position? And war kind of goes into this a little bit, but it depends on which war you're looking at, and the fact that there are multiple wars makes them a bit incomplete on that. And again, a little bit more subjective for my own argument here. There is this point here that you're bringing up here with defensive things are weighted runs above average here. There's a reason why catcher is the hardest. The amount of toll and physical damage that position does on your body is insane. The amount that you have to be able to do that 6 days of the week here. And that's if you decide not to have an off day. And most of the time, even his off days aren't actual off days because then he's DHing. But I go back to that you had just a second ago there, Splash. I would like to bring your attention back down to what was the second to last one there, and that is right field. What position does Judge play? Outfield. Every outfield position is in the bottom four except for first baseman. First base takes the first. I understand. I get that. So here's the thing at this point. It is a subjective feeling of what you can do as a catcher. Here, how you view the catcher position, how much does it help? Because you can also very well make the argument that, not make the argument. You can very easily just say that, if you're a catcher, that automatically makes you better. No. If you take two players that have the exact same stats, and one of them is a catcher, one is a right fielder, the more value-wise is going to go to the catcher, just because that is the harder position to play, and you have three outfielders as opposed to one outfielder. But we can't deny that Aaron Judge has been absolutely insane. The batting average is still over 300. The OPS itself is still over 1,100. OPS plus at over 2,000. 200 here for him. Where Cal's numbers are great, but not quite at that level here. So it really does a lot of it come down to position and how much does that affect it here. Because you can't just say that every catcher is better than a right fielder value-wise because it's a harder position to play. That's not how that works here. I don't think anyone with any amount of salt to them can say that Patrick Bailey, no matter how great of a defensive catcher he is better than Aaron Judge. I no disrespect to Patrick Bailey. Of course, this dude is a defensive wizard and I love him. But if you have a choice between the two, it's obvious, right? So that's what I kind of want to keep on here with is that the numbers are close. Yes, you do give a slight nod to Judge here because of the batting average, on-base percentage, slugging, OPS here. Also, make sure you bring it the win probability added has Judge and Raleigh right about at the same here. So it is extraordinarily close between these two players here. I give it to Raleigh because of how close that feeling is. But also, one more thing I want to bring up here, and then I'm going to hand it off to Matt, because I apologize, I've been talking now for 4 straight minutes here. But I like to think of, think about WAR for just a second here. What do the letters stand for? Wins above replacement. Who is Judge's replacement right now? Just shot in the dark. Who is it? This is asking you guys.
Please do not subject me to more Giancarlo Stanton in the outfield.
Okay.
Unfortunately, right now
I am begging.
Okay. So, that gives a lot more. That gives a lot more good.
Stan's been on a rampage we haven't seen since his Marlins days, but watching him play the outfield, not so much.
Yeah, exactly. But at least offensively has been good, right? Here. Now, who is the replacement for Cal Raleigh? It's Mitch Garver. And no disrespect on Garver, not been amazing. Here, defensively has been all right. Offensively, think everything has been better than last year. But that's no disrespect to the man. It's not a high bar. So, Harry Ford, I love him very, very much here, by the way. Yes, I'm bringing him because Splash has brought him up on camera here. But that's another topic for another day. We'll get to that. But eventually. So, again, this is a tough call. I go Raleigh just from my own eye test here, too, and seeing what he has done to propel this team to potentially winning the division. But I would like to now give Mac time to talk on this.
Yeah, I mean, so I'll add on your I mean, first of all, that is great.
Hold up. Yeah, please go watch us on YouTube here, Losses of Our Replacement. This graphic is one of the best things that's ever been on our podcast. That includes all of our talking. This is brilliant. It's a collage of Sir Harry Ford. I love it so much. Also, remember the Great Britain jerseys.
These ones look slightly better than the road grays they had.
I mean, the ones where the letters were literally falling off.
Yes, that one. But anyways, I do want to echo some of Alex's points, and I think the big one for me is that catcher is a super demanding position, arguably the most demanding position other than being like a quarterback, I would say, in sports. But he has caught more games than anyone else each of the last 3 years, and that includes this year. But with catchers normally, you don't see when they get a day off, it's normally a straight up full day off. You don't see them in the lineup or anything. But this year, Cal has only missed 3 games all season, and I think it just speaks volumes to the fact that his bat is so good that the Mariners need him in the lineup every single day if possible, unless he directly asks for a day off, or if Dan Wilson just says hey, we're going to give you a rest today, he's going to be in the lineup. He's going to do everything he can. So, I mean, that's the things that, and I know some people will say, all right, well, Judge has some better rate stats, even though he's missed 8 games. And the other thing with Judge is we don't know if he's going to play the field the rest of the year. He has an elbow problem. He hasn't really been able to throw. He's trying to throw right now. If Judge goes back out to the outfield and plays great defense again, it'd be one thing. That's the other thing is that Judge has not really been hitting since the injury. He did go deep in his last game, but in general, since the injury, he has not been himself, I think. And I'll add that while Cal's his batting average may not be super pretty. But, when I know that earlier you mentioned the Salvador Perez 48 homer season. And just for a quick comparison, 158 WRC plus for Cal this year, only a 125 in Salvi's year, which is that's a big difference. And that can be attributed to, Cal's 13% walk rate compared to the 4% from Salvi. And while Cal still strikes out a lot, his strikeout rate has gone down, actually. I think really it goes beyond just being a home run hitter. I think in general he's been more of a complete hitter. And I'll also add that his isolated power of 343 is significantly than what Salvi had. When he set the record, it was 271. So I think just top to bottom, I'm looking at who's made I mean, Judge has made a huge impact on the Yankees, and the Yankees probably wouldn't really be in as great of a position without him. But I mean, I don't know what the Mariners would be without Cal. I mean, he plays nearly every day. He's statistically the best hitter in their lineup. And I'd say he's the most important player on their team. Plus, they're fighting for an AL West crown this year. So I think they both have very compelling cases, but I'm looking at an elite catcher. I know he isn't as elite as last year, but a strong defensive catcher behind the plate who's hitting the bejesus out of the balls. I gotta lean Cal here.
I think fair points were made all around. I do think it's a toss-up. This is, to me, I think the odds here are fair. These are courtesy of Sports Betting Dime. If you want to bet Judge, you can take him on at BetMGM for -120. If you want to take Cal, you can take him at DraftKings for +100. And this is the kind of thing that'll fluctuate throughout a given day, throughout a given week. If Cal hits another homer, his odds are going to bump up a little bit. If Judge hits another homer, his odds are going to bump up a little bit. I do think the defensive spectrum question is fair, and I think that can get overlooked sometimes. So, like in the National League, this is why I'm still in on PCA. I know I'm all alone on PCA Island right now because he's like 1 for his last 300, according to the troll graphics on Twitter. But I think the defensive spectrum is fair. And yes, of course, a equivalent player at catcher is a better player than an equivalent player in right field. I agree. I do think there is some element of not lapping the field necessarily, but I do think the Aaron Judge of it all is that he is there's such a gap in terms of his hitting stats compared to Cal that there's been at times a 150 point gap in OPS. That is absurd. Like you take that 150 point gap. I'll look up the exact gap that it is right now, but you look at that gap and then you take that gap down again and it's an 800 OPS. So that's borderline all-star level. So you're going from the best player in the league to the best hitter in the league all the way down. There's a 37 point gap in OPS plus right now. That's the difference between Cal and then being out of the top 10. And the difference in OPS as of right now, where's OPS? The difference in OPS right now is just, I do think it should matter. That there's a 178 point gap in OPS entering play today. That is our 168 point gap in OPS. That is meaningful to me. And yes, some of that you eat into that with the catcher aspect. You eat into that with the solid catcher defense. I've said in the group chat, it's not A level like it was last year. I don't think Cal should win the Gold Glove. Hot take. Probably Alejandro Kirk or
probably won't this year.
Carlos Narvaez. He's been above average defensively for a catcher. Like I would say, like C11 if we're doing our Power Pros grades. I think Judge has been fine and right, but there's levels to this that I'd take Cal's defense because he's a catcher over Judge's defense as a right fielder. Fine. Added base running value because Cal has stolen some bases. He's been a plus base runner this year. That eats into it. So I think it's close. The 160 some odd point gap in OPS is not the end all be all. And Cal is making up ground, if you will, in that. I do think it's close. I think it's a coin flip, and it's just going to be a matter of who strings together the best month because Judge has been hot and cold. Both players, honestly, have been hot and cold. Cal feels like every swing is an uppercut trying to launch it into the stands. And, fair enough. That's his game. But if he gets some bad BABIP luck or there's like a cold week or the wind's blowing in or something screwy happens, that can be the difference. And like Judge had a 1100 OPS in July. He had a 1250 OPS in May, a 1280 OPS in April. Well, it's only 800 this month, right? So if he has another 800, he probably is going to lose the MVP. But if he goes bananas and hits 10 home runs in September or something and finishes with, 55 on the season, and Cal's
with an OPS around 1200, it'd be.
Yeah, if Judge is at a OPS plus of 230 or 215 or 220, that's going to be tough to overcome. But I think it's close. I think the odds are fair. I think if voting was done today, it'd be probably 17 votes for one, 13 votes for the other, or 16-14, like the fraudulent MVP race in the NFL. That should have been 50-0 Lamar Jackson, but was like 26-23-1 for some reason. That's my view.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it is, I feel like also both sides of this are having a hard time acknowledging that this is actually a race.
Mm-hmm.
And I also, the thing that's driving me insane about this race, and this has nothing to do with the players themselves, but the two fan bases are like at war, but it's like completely different. The Mariners fans and the Cal Raleigh fans are trying to hype up their player, while the Aaron Judge side is just trying to take shots at Cal the entire time. And like, guys, this is like the way the Mariners fans are doing it is probably the right way to do it. But no, Yankee fans have to get all defensive that someone might threaten Aaron Judge. Oh my God, novel concept. Other players exist in the league that are good.
I mean, look,
yes.
I could say more on that here, but I also don't want to piss off any Yankee fans. All I'm just gonna say is you're exactly right, Matt. And I think that it just says a little bit in the lessons of class from both fans.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Just a little bit there here. I mean, to be fair, and this is also, don't get me wrong, this is a shot and not at the same time here. You go to a lot of ballparks like on the east side, like in the east half of the country, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of traditions that are there that on the west side of the country, or at least at Safeco Field, T-Mobile Park, you will not see them ever. And I am very okay with this. So I think it just comes down to class a little bit, but at the same time, there's definitely a good thing to be said for fans that are as passionate as that here. But can we just not acknowledge that we have some really good baseball players in the league, and we're not just relying on one Michael Trout to being the best player in baseball and carrying the entire league right alongside of Miguel Cabrera? Like, don't get me wrong, love both of those guys. Both those guys are amazing. But I love the fact that we have so many players in baseball right now that are box office at this point now. Guys like Cal Raleigh, Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, PCA, Shohei Ohtani, all these guys that are legitimate stars that people will pay a lot of money to to have a reserved place for their bottom to go and see. But with that being said here again, let us know what you guys think. We're in the final month of the season. Here we are as Dave Sims said, we're getting to nitty gritty time, folks. And let us know what you guys think.
Yankees announcer Dave Sims, correct?
That's now Yankees announcer, but that was the call. Current Yankees announcer Dave Sims, yes. But that call was directly from his calling of Felix Hernandez's perfect game. Yeah,
fair.
It was like, we're getting to nitty gritty time, folks, and it's still one of my favorite calls of all time. But let us know who you guys think is the MVP right now. Who you guys think is going to be the
Byron
MVP
Buxton, baby.
Here, it is probably not going to be Byron Buxton, but I like the effort. Let us know here on the Bird app, here at LAR_baseball, or leave a comment here on the YouTube video that you're watching. But we have some time here, so let's keep going through some more of the awards here. National League MVP. I like you, PCA. I really do. I like Kyle Schwarber. It's not particularly close, though. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so that's the thing is that PCA, had he maintained his offensive numbers or some semblance of it from before the All-Star break, it's probably a lot closer. And heck, maybe he's even in the lead, but he's really fallen off in the second half. It's not like unplayable territory, but Ohtani, I think, especially now that he's pitching, and he pitched well in his last outing, he's sort of figuring that the whole pitching thing out again. I'm having a hard time not giving it to Ohtani. He's objectively the best hitter in the National League. I know Kyle Schwarber has hit 3 home runs today. He's hit 48 home runs this year. Okay, he's great, but I think overall, I'm talking like full package to the plate. It's Ohtani. I know it hurts everyone that he's on the Dodgers, but it's just it's a runaway train, I think.
Absolutely. And it hurts a little bit because it's like you want some of these players to really break out here, but it's a one-man race, and it's sad to say that here, especially when you come back down to the idea of valuable player. And now that Ohtani's back pitching again, he's just the most valuable player in the game. But once he gets back to full starting, that's a different story where then now you have full power Ohtani, and that's a very scary thought. But with that being said, go ahead, Splash. Apologies for interrupting you.
Okay. So I will say Ohtani did get rocked in one of his previous outings. So
yeah, the Rockies beat him up kind of badly.
Yeah, the pitching, he was pretty solid last night. 5 innings of 1-run ball. He got whacked around at Coors Field, 5 runs over 4 innings. And the week before, the outing before, actually, yes, the week before, because he starts every Wednesday, he allowed 4 runs against the Angels back in Anaheim. So I do have a little bit of pushback with the pitching conversation. Like, he's been a 4 ERA pitcher, ERA plus of 100 this season. And it's been 32 innings. So I do begin to wonder how much of the Ohtani mythos gets counted here, because he's been an average pitcher as opposed to like a plus pitcher. And yes, pitching league average innings is important. I agree to that. But I do think there is some element. Sometimes there can be an element of, oh, he's Ohtani, he hits and pitches, so he gets like a little bit of a bonus, that like a 5-point or 10-point bonus, if you will, in his OPS plus because he pitches, or a 5-point bonus in his ERA plus, because he hits too. So I don't think that one's fair, but like raw production, the hitting speaks for itself, and the pitching has been average. And again, there is value to league average pitching, but I do wonder what shape of production, if we're going to get like a 10 war season out of Ohtani, what shape of the 10 war production would be the most likely to win MVP if they were all coalesced together. So I get the MVP argument, of course, and I think he will win it. But I do want to get on my soapbox and preach a little PCA. As Alex said earlier, there's a defensive spectrum. Center field is near the top. It's not shortstop or catcher.
Actually, I'm pretty sure it was middle. I'm pretty sure it was middle on the graphic you put up. Because it was the highest of the outfield ones, but all 3 of the outfield positions were at the bottom here. The only one that was below the 3 outfield positions was first base.
Okay. That might have been a different.
It was on the one you showed earlier. But...
Okay, there was one that was offensive production, and one that was the run, like the value in the WAR. So okay. I don't remember which one that's from, but yeah. But center field is generally considered to be at least an average or a slightly above average defensive position. Again, not shortstop.
Agreed.
And not catcher, but PCA being the best defensive outfielder in baseball, I think matters. And this is one argument for WAR to me, is defense and base running. You can't see all of it. Like, even Cubs fans who watch every single PCA game, you are watching the broadcast angle. You are not watching the jumps that PCA gets, and that is one of the things that makes PCA so special, is the jumps. You know who has the jump data? Big Baseball. MLB.com has it. And I get that some people, you're pushing narratives, and there's data the catch probability doesn't have, and whatever. I get it. It's not a perfect thing, but what I do know is the data, defensive data, is the entire picture. I will watch, I could watch every Cubs game and I don't get all of the data. I could watch every PCA play and I don't get all the data unless I'm looking at a different vantage point, like the all 22 version of baseball. And I do think it is a fair proponent of WAR, a fair opposite of criticism, like a fair compliment to WAR.
Yeah, a fair compliment.
A fair compliment to WAR, that it is all encompassing in that regard, that plate appearances, we have a number. We can see all 600 or so plate appearances a player will have in a season, but we won't necessarily see all of their defensive chances, because if you don't play the ball, if you don't catch the ball, but you don't touch it, it's not an error, so that doesn't go down as a defensive chance. but that's a botched play that if you're watching, it's like, that's a botched play. This is the Nick Castellanos of it all, that Nick Castellanos doesn't make errors, but that doesn't make him a good defender because he doesn't get to balls that other right fielders might get to and might make an error on.
I will say he's gotten a lot better, but it's still ugly to watch it.
Also, you should have seen my face when you said that Schwarber had homered 3 times.
Yeah.
Because I didn't. Okay. You know what?
Yeah.
So
Schwarber's really good at hitting home runs.
That's the thing, is that Schwarber, I know that the Mets held him hitless in Flushing this week, but he is a demon offensively. It's a tough thing, because just like he's also purely a DH. And by the way, when we get to the offseason, we're going to have a crazy conversation about what contract that dude's going to get. Because
I am petitioning Alex Anthopoulos to just back up the Brinks truck so he can't hurt the Braves anymore.
Oh, I've been saying the same thing about David Stearns. So
that's my defense. That was also my defense for going after Wheeler if Wheeler ever got to free agency. Although that would have blown up in our faces with Aaron Nola, because Aaron Nola, well, today's been okay, I guess, but that would have been blown up. And also, Zach Wheeler out for the year, speedy recovery. Get well soon, pal. But yeah, back to the PCA point. This is a part that we all can go on Baseball Reference or Fangraphs or pick your favorite baseball site, and we can see the stats, and we can see that PCA is not having as good of a season offensively as other players in the league. Yes, all of that is true. That, to me, misses the point that he is a truly spectacular defensive player. He is in the 100th percentile. He is that, like, elite gets thrown around a lot. Like we throw around, like with NFL quarterbacks, an 1/8 of the league is considered to be an elite quarterback, right? 4 teams have an elite quarterback. PCA is elite. He is one of one defensively. He is one of the top 2 or 3 defensive players in the entire sport, with Patrick Bailey on a year-to-year basis, and I would argue keep Brian Hayes. And we can have a shortstop conversation at another point, but there's obviously some great shortstops. Having that level of elite defense does matter, especially in center field, especially at Wrigley with goofy winds, and you have this weird wall situation with the ivy, and it's a really good Cubs team, and every run that PCA saves, I know it doesn't count. I know it doesn't go in the stat sheet as, oh, he saved another run, unless your defensive run saved. That does exist, but that doesn't count in his RBI total. That doesn't count in his runs scored total. But those do matter. Those do track over the course of a season. And there's a reason. I'm going to use the Braves as an example. There's a reason the 90s Braves, you add Andrew Jones to the mix, you're going to win the division year after year after year when you have a defensive wizard like Andrew Jones saving 10, 15, 20, 30 runs a season. Why were the Cardinals so successful when Ozzie Smith is playing shortstop? Well, it helps when he's saving 20, 30 runs a season at shortstop. You look at these great teams, these dynasties in baseball, besides the contemporary Yankees, they have these great defensive pieces that raise the floor of the team, that make it easier to win on a day-by-day basis. Instead of it being a 50-50 game, it's a 52-48 game, because you know their guys are going to go make plays. And I think PCA is on that level of being an all-time elite defensive player. Maybe not all-time yet. It's year 1, but he's tracking to be a spectacular defensive player. Like, he is getting Andrew Jones comps. He's getting Willie Mays comps. And I do generally have pushback there, but he's been a
kind of hard to
compare
anyone to Willie Mays, but yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I mean, look, I'll say this
PCA
much.
argument. I would vote for Ohtani, but PCA would be higher in my ballot than I think the average.
Yeah, no, and I think PCA for me is probably second or third. All right. And somewhere in there you have to fit in Schwarber. You probably have to fit in Soto somewhere. There are like a number of guys. I feel like it's tougher because the National League race just, and I hate saying this, but it's not as competitive. Really, it's not.
Yeah.
But what's it called? But PCA, while his bat is sort of lagged in the second half, it's still night and day compared to what we saw his first 2 years in the majors. I mean, really, I came into this year not expecting him to turn into like a star with the bat. And even if his on base percentage is below 300, he's still slugging over 500. He's still a well above average offensive player. I was thinking maybe he'd be more like a Brett Gardner type, where he's a great defender, but he's, all right, he can be a little above average at the bat. I know Brett Gardner in the Juice Ball year hit 28 home runs. True sign the ball's reduced. But, PCA has far exceeded what I expected from him offensively this year. And combo that with his great speed and defense. Yeah, no, he has a strong case that he is the most valuable player on a strong contending Cubs team, and that he deserves plenty of MVP votes.
Absolutely. Here, so let's move on then to the next conversation here. So we have 2 more conversations before we get to trivia here. So we'll keep these as good as we want to, but trivia is not going to take that long today. I'm just letting you guys know that. So let's move on now to the American League Cy Young conversation. And if you would have asked earlier, it's a complete runaway here, right? Like, obviously it goes to Skubal, but Crochet has made himself a heck of a case, right?
Yeah, this is a great race. This is the pitcher equivalent to what's going on with Judge and Cal. Like, it feels like every outing it's lowering an ERA. Every run counts. You saw Red Sox fans were absolutely enraged that a grand slam that Shea Bangaliers hit off Skubal didn't count as all earned runs.
Yeah, no,
because there was an error earlier in the inning. They were losing their minds. You might have thought that like the Patriots traded Drake May. It was that bad. It was catastrophe.
Okay,
but at this point, those 4 earned runs, those are that could decide the Cy Young race. Skubal is currently leads the American League in ERA, leads the majors in strikeouts, leads the American League in ERA plus, FIP, WHIP, strikeouts per 9, walks per 9, strikeout to walk ratio. It's incredible. And Crochet is right there with him. And like, I think this is exactly what baseball wants. We've seen in some ways the death of the starting pitcher. And this is a return to form. This is 2 of the best teams in the American League. This is a red-hot Red Sox team, by the way. My World Series champions.
My American League champion.
Soon, just saying. Soon. This is what we want. Like, the ace of a Tigers team that has been excellent this season. The ace of the Boston freaking Red Sox. Yes. Inject it into my veins. This is lovely. And you can make the argument. There's one Crochet has recorded 1 more out. He has allowed 2 more earned runs. Like I said, those earned runs from the Shea Langoliers homer, those could matter. The ERA plus, very similar. The FIP is very similar. The WHIP, there's a bit of a difference here. Skubal allows a hit fewer per 9 and about a walk fewer per 9. But, man, these are just remarkably similar numbers across the board. Skubal's probably a smidge better, the 50 OPS plus allowed versus a 67 OPS plus allowed. But these are like very, very similar. A couple extra stolen bases allowed for Crochet. They both have 17 quality starts. That's the exact same percentage. Their average game scores within 2 points of each other. They both strike guys out at a 30% clip. They're both above average in reducing walks. They both pitch deep into games generally. They're over 90 pitches per average start. This is a great battle. This is exactly what you want.
Yeah, and really, I got to credit Crochet here a lot. I mean, personally, I'm leaning Skubal a little bit. It looks like, he has a compelling case to win his 2nd straight Cy Young. But you look at Crochet, and Crochet to me, like I've said this before, and I'll say I'm dead wrong. I thought he was just going to be a reliever in his career. And last year we saw the White Sox were really careful with him down the stretch. And now he's out here. He's 166 in the 3rd innings. Leads the American League by 1 out. If you had told me Garrett Crochet was leading the American League in innings pitched back in 2021 or even 2022 or 2023, I would have said absolutely no chance there. So Crochet has turned into a complete pitcher. More than just a thrower, which I mean, hats off to him. And Skubal was a demon last year. He's a demon again this year. I really can't say much more about these 2 guys. Shout out Nathan Eovaldi. That hurt my soul when I heard he went on the IL. He was having the best year of his career. And he would have been in this conversation too, I think. And I'd also like to shout out Hunter Brown. He's also having an excellent season. But I think Scooble has a slight edge. But again, this is going to be a race that will go down to the wire.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was just because I want to make sure he gets said here. Brian Wu has done absolutely incredible this year. And I mean, 25 straight starts of 6 innings or more? Like, that's incredible. The dude has had one heck of a year. Not bad for a failed college starter. So, love to see it here. I mean, of the top names, though, I think I still go Scooble for right now, but the last month is going to dictate a lot when it comes to this race.
By the way, I also quickly want to shout out Jacob deGrom, making a comeback at age 37. Dude, I didn't think we'd see this again, but he's been a top 5 pitcher in the American League, I think.
He's been solid, definitely. All right, let's move on to the NL Cy Young, and much like the NL MVP, not a whole lot of competition.
Yeah, this is a runaway train. Unfortunately, Zach Wheeler's out for the year. I think he would have been a solid runner-up probably, or maybe if he really blew everyone away down the stretch, he could have stolen the award away, but it's the Skeens award to lose. Christopher Sanchez has been good. The Mets hit him around on Monday night. He even kicked a trash can. That's how mad he was. Shout out to Freddie Peralta's having a great year. What's up?
Shout out to the Astros.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
good
exactly.
one. But but it's Skeens and it's not close. But yeah, like I said, Freddie Peralta's having a great year. I'd like to shout him out. And Logan Webb's a workhorse. He leads the majors in innings pitched. So yeah, shout out to those guys. But Skeens might win this award with a losing record. But yeah, this he's must-see TV. Every time Paul Skeens is pitching, I feel like I need to make time to watch.
Absolutely. There's a reason why I made sure I spent money to make sure that when Skeens pitched in Seattle that I went and I watched.
I missed him by a day in New York.
Yeah. I missed when I was in Colorado last year, there was a chance that Skeen was going to pitch against the Rockies. And I'm like, yes, I'm going to buy a ticket to make sure this happens here. What do you mean they pushed his start date back so he can pitch in PNC Park again? What are you talking about? And that was very sad. So getting to see a pitch live, and he pitched fantastically until he was taken out of the game. And then the first batter gives up a home run, and the final score of the game goes 1-0. But that's just how it be for Skeens. I don't think it's particularly close. There's been a lot of great years here. Skeens is just in a different ballpark, just in a different league.
I am sad that there wasn't more of a race here. And this is sort of like the advanced version of my Aaron Judge take, that it really sucks that he got hurt and we missed out on like some greatness. Chris Sale was having like basically the exact same season. He had a couple bad starts early on and then he gets hurt and it's like, he's been terrific. He had a 2.52 ERA, was striking 11.5 guys out per 9. Spencer Schwellenbach had really rounded into form. And then, of course, you have the Zach Wheeler of it all. It just is a bummer. Like, yes, Skeens is probably going to win the Cy Young, fully deserving. But it is a bummer that it's not more of a race. Shout out to Andrew Abbott, flyball merchant or pop-up merchant, my king.
Which is crazy in Great American Ballpark.
Yes.
That's like, I don't know how you do that.
Like it's just a weak fly ball merchant. I love it. Very different archetype. And then you have Logan Webb at the bottom here, 10th in Baseball Reference War, 10th in ERA. Who's a very different. He throws a sinker ball. He's basically throwing bowling balls at you. Christopher Sanchez, same thing. Freddie Peralta's had a good season. Matthew Boyd has had an excellent season. Nick Pivetta, really savvy signing for San Diego. But yeah, it's Skeens. It's Skeens in a landslide, and it is a little unfortunate that it is such a landslide.
Absolutely.
But the American League makes up for it both in the MVP race and the Cy Young race.
It's a lot more fun in the American Leagues, coming from the American League fan amongst the three of us.
Now the Rookie of the Year race.
That's everyone. Unfortunately, we don't have time for that today. We can maybe talk about that next week.
Darn.
All right.
Yeah, the National League is kind of like a high school football game. You don't know who's going to win, but they're all high schoolers. And then the American League, or the American League race is watching like 2019 LSU.
Yeah,
like
that's
everybody.
fair.
Like the defense sucks, but oh man, just bing, 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 like 62 points in the semifinal. Okay, 50 points against Georgia in the SEC title game. Okay, sure thing.
I don't know why, but that just gave me like war flashbacks to Connor Halliday throwing for like 800 yards and scoring like 734, scoring a ton of points and still losing.
My greatest stat of all time is that the college football passing record is a tie. It's at 734 yards. What are the odds of that?
That's insane.
Like Mahomes and Connor Halliday, neither one had like 733 or neither one had 735. They had to tie. It's like the Cecil Fielder and Prince Fielder retiring with the same number of home runs. Although that was really unfortunate how that happened.
So what you're trying to tell me is that Mahomes and Halliday are the same level of quarterback, right?
Yes, I think the Chiefs should make that trade.
You know what? I should. That'd be great. Come on, Connor Halliday. They wouldn't even have to trade. They could just
you have a double. Then you have a double wazoo quarterback.
You get double wazoo. Yes, exactly. It's perfect.
And then they can get swept by the Raiders, and my king Ashton Genty can go to the playoffs, and your king Pete Carroll and Geno Smith can go.
I mean, Pete Carroll's not my king anymore, but I do love him very much. Anyway, with that being said,
let us know. To crash out.
Let us know who you guys think is are the MVPs in these conversations. So let us know who is your Cy Young Award picks here on the Bird app or on YouTube. But now it's time for trivia, and today I'm hosting it in a game that I came up quite literally 5 minutes before we recorded here. So if
I guess
it is now time for trivia here, and today I will be hosting trivia with an idea that I came up with 5 minutes before we started here. So if the idea is bad, we blame Mac. But just to give you an idea of how weird that this entire game is, it crashed my actual microphone and camera as soon as I said it. And this is take 2 of trying to do this intro for it. Here. Sorry, should I steal it from you?
No, go ahead.
All right, fair enough. All right, guys, so here's the game. I'm calling this Know Your ABCs. So I have generated 3 random letters here that I'm going to tell you guys in sequence, and each of you is going to give me a player. The player that has the most war between those 2 players will get a point for you. So let's say, for example, the letter is A, right? And one of you, last names, I want to be very clear. Right here, one says Jim Abbott and one says Paul Abbott. One is going to be a little bit better than the other war-wise, I think, here, and that person will get the point here. And it's a best 2 out of 3. There are 3 letters that I have generated.
Okay.
So,
Fangraphs or Baseball Reference war?
This is going to be pulled off of Baseball Reference.
Okay.
Here.
All right.
So,
sounds good.
With that being said, the coin flip is very important here because it does determine who gets first and who gets second picks on this. So, I made fun of Mac just a second ago. Mac, you get the pick. Here, would you like heads or tails? I'm going to flip my phone.
Oh.
It is tails.
Okay.
All right, Mac, would you like the first or the second pick? Into the first one, I should say.
I'll go first.
Okay, that was the correct answer. So, for the both of you, here, Mac, you get the first pick. The first letter you guys will both be working with comes with the last name that starts with P.
P. Okay.
The letter P. So, you need to give me the player that you think last name starts with P that has the most war. Baseball Reference war.
Oh, boy. This is Baseball Reference war. I can't think of a lot of notable players for some reason that name starts with P.
I want you to know, by the way, that one of the first ones I got was Q, and I thought that was going to be a bad idea, so I just nixed it.
Darn. Carlos Quentin should not be erased from.
Yeah, or Omar Quintanilla.
Is that the right answer?
It might be.
I'll go with Tony Phillips.
Tony Phillips.
Probably not right at all, but
I mean,
I would like Mac. I would like to thank you. Alex, the answer is the machine, Albert Pujols.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
Why
it's
am
definitely
I?
Albert Pujols.
Oh my god!
I don't think I really even need to.
Why did
check on this
my mind immediately went for to PH for some reason, like Phil. I don't know why.
I'm like sweating bullets here. It's like, don't say Pujols, don't say Pujols,
I don't know why I went to Tony Phillips for some reason.
So Tony Phillips has a WAR of 50.9.
I mean, it's a lot better than I thought.
Quite literally, almost lapsed
double.
him with 101 points.
How did I mess that up? Oh my god!
That was a generational level choke. There,
okay. All
right, Splash. Now you get to go first on level 2. The second letter that you get to deal with first is the letter R.
R. Okay.
Last name starts with R. I need you to give me a player.
Okay. Pitchers and hitters, yes.
Yeah, pitchers and hitters. Yep. I'm just going to be scrolling through Baseball Reference to get both of them.
Okay.
But, yeah, that was... Mac, I'm so sorry, dude.
Yeah, I had a rough one there.
Mm-hmm. All right, Slash.
Babe Ruth.
Oh, man, that's a pretty...
I gave you a trick question, hitter or pitcher, because he did both.
He did do both, yeah. All right, Mac.
Well, that's obviously the right answer.
Yeah, that's the correct answer because he's number 1 in
I was
going to
say,
time. So
I mean, I had a feeling that he would go there. I had Nolan Ryan prepared as a backup, and I know he's not even close.
Yeah, we're not even gonna
Would
check
Ripken be above Nolan Ryan?
Rodriguez too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now we're gonna go to last. So Splash has already won, but we're gonna see if you can go for the complete sweep here.
Okay, wonderful.
And Mac, you get to go first with the last name that starts with the letter T.
T. Oh. There are some heavy hitters here.
There are definitely some heavy hitters with the last name that starts with T. Can you give me one of them? And you want to make it better than whatever Splash comes up with?
Yeah. I'm just trying to think if there's anyone. Oh, man. Because the first name that I came to is active. I don't know if he'd be the leader here. So I'm just going to say him. Mike Trout.
Mike Trout is a great answer. Just being clear on that here.
So he's
all right.
He's at like 85,
something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Still in the top 50, I believe.
Yes. Okay. Let me think. So
all right.
Frank Thomas is too low. He's in the 70s.
He's showing his work right now.
Yes. The other Frank Thomas, Mets legend.
Yes, Mets legend. 1962 Met. 34 homers for those 62 Mets.
Gonna need an answer from your Splash.
I do. I have a feeling that Trout is the leader here among T's, so I might not have a chance. Unless I'm just totally blanking on someone. Which hopefully I'm not. Also, shout out to Clayton Kershaw, man. He has been unbelievable this season. He's like 73 years old. TTT. Yeah, I'm gonna say that Trout is the leader. So I don't have.
I'm double checking right now to see if he is the leader.
Okay.
So.
Because if he is, there's not any point in me guessing or trying to think.
Yeah, I'm rereading through the list right now. Here.
Great poll.
Yeah, no, I think. Yeah, as I'm looking. Yeah, no. As far as I can tell, there is no player with the last name that starts with T that is higher than Michael Trout.
Great poll.
That's a great poll there.
Frank Thomas second.
Frank Thomas. Let me pull his up. So, by the way, Mike Trout at 87.1.
I feel like Alan Trammell might be higher than
he's up there.
Frank. Yeah.
So Frank Thomas,
both around
Big Hurt 73.8. So pretty close.
Is he second then, or?
I think he is. I can double check that in a second. I'm just also getting the list now here for Alan Trammell, 70.6.
Okay,
so it was higher than Trammell.
Oh, and Jim Thomey's in there as well.
Oh yeah, Jim Thome is also there.
Thome, yeah.
So at least from my cursory glance here, it'd be Trout, then Thomas, then
Trammell or
then Tomey, then Trammell.
Oh,
Gotcha.
Tomei, okay.
Yeah. So that's
All right.
that's the group over 70. Good pull.
So Splash, you are our winner today in trivia. Congratulations. You are the first winner of Know Your ABCs.
Hey, by the way, guys, Kyle Schwarber hit another homer.
4 now?
On.
Is that 4? Jeez.
That's the third 4-homer game of the year. We went 8 years.
Wait a minute. Oh, yes, Suarez. Okay. I forgot I forgot that game happened.
We went 8 years without one and then just got 3.
And we
Oh
did
my
we have
God.
2 in 2017, right? It was Jeanette and Martinez.
Yes.
Something like that, yeah. Anyway, with that being said, I guess we're going to take a brief moment away from Kyle Schwarber hitting absolute nukes.
I'm going to crash out so hard. Today is like one of the worst days I can remember. The Braves are losing in Philadelphia 18-4, and Kyle Schwarber has 9 RBI, and Boise State is getting their pants blown off in Tampa.
I'm actually doing pretty good. Yesterday, I had a really good day.
I am on mega crash out alert.
Well, you know what? Hey, you might have time to talk about it because now it's time for the moment to ourselves. We can talk about anything that's on our mind. It does not have to be baseball related, but it absolutely can be. Gentlemen, would either of you like to go first? If not, I can go.
I can go first.
All right, Splash. You will start off. Your time begins in 3, 2, 1, go.
Brother in Christ. Okay, first of all, how do you Cal Quantrill? Honestly, man, this Brave season has been so tiring and taxing that it's like for the first half it was like the pitching is good and you've Schwellenbach and Sale and Grant Holmes but the offense wouldn't do anything. And now since the All-Star break, the offense has been really good. Like Jerkson Profar is hitting the ball so far. Ozzy Albies looks like he's fully recovered from his wrist injury. You know, Ronald is Ronald. Matt Olson's hitting homers again. No Riley, unfortunately. Michael Harris. Oh my God, Michael Harris has been a revelation. First of all, I'm not going to buy into the Michael Harris thing until he does it in the first half of a season. So unfortunately, he will not be in my top 5 center fielders, even though right now he's playing like the best freaking player in baseball. But I'm not going to buy in because he does this thing every year. Julio Rodriguez does the same thing. He just has a higher baseline in the first half. Michael Harris, please figure it out in the first half so I can resume being a stan of yours. But now the pitching, it's like Cal Quantrill's getting outings. Eric Fetty got an outing. He's in Milwaukee now, I think. Like Bryce Elder, former All-Star Bryce Elder continues to pitch. And man, it's just such a buzzkill because the offense has been really good. Raisel Iglesias has had like a 1 ERA the last 3 months or something. And it just stinks when your team is like in not purgatory, but when the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing. Like the left hand or my right hand. My right hand is writing a note and my left hand is erasing it. That's what the Braves season has been like. You know, the pitching is great and then the offense erases it. The offense is great, the pitching erases it. The offense and defense, or the offense and pitching works out, but then like Iglesias allows 8 runs in the 9th for some reason, and it's been one of those years. And thankfully, we haven't had one of those years for the Braves in quite a while. This is the first time in quite a while that they've had expectations and blown the expectations. You know, the last time they were bad, they were supposed to be bad, 2017. And even in 2018, they were supposed to be bad and really overachieved and, you know, made the playoffs with rookie Ronald and a really, really young team. And they kept winning the division and eventually won the World Series in the last couple of years that haven't gone their way in the playoffs, but they've been an excellent team. And I still have high hopes for next year, but it's just this year has been a brutal watch, and it's every day. Like the difference, like I compared it to the 2021 Ravens before, but at least the 2021 Ravens, there were 6 days a week I didn't have to watch them, right? And it's like I still have, you know, MVP Lamar at least until the last month and a half of the season, and and now Boise State's going to lose, and that's their season down the drain. You can kiss the college football playoff goodbye, which is really sad that a week 1 game matters that much, but that's just how college football works. So
makes me a little bit more happy to not be caring as much about college football this year, I guess.
So the 1 year I like get back into it and I'm listening to college football podcasts and And then Boise State, in the first game of week 1, loses by 27 to South Florida.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm a little nervous for Syracuse's game against Tennessee. Not that I think Tennessee is like super dangerous, but like this is the first time in a while I feel like we've gone into a year with like super high expectations. But we will see about that.
We'll see. All right, Mac, you want to go next? Or you want me to go?
Yeah, sure, I can go.
All right, sounds good. Your time begins in 3, 2, 1, begin.
So I just wanted to shout out Nolan McLean. I didn't go in depth on him during our awards talk, but this is really, really fun to watch. This is a guy who was a two-way player in college, tried being a two-way player in the pros. Now he's focusing solely on pitching. And, people were wondering, he's jumped from AA to the majors this year. He was in AAA for a bit. But what would he do at the major league level? And he's been way better than I could have asked for. And yet yesterday, going 8 shutout innings against the Phillies to secure a sweep. I mean, he was filling the strike zone. No walks in either of his last 2 starts. First pitcher in Mets history to win their first 3 games. It's just really, really fun to watch that this team actually has a bona fide pitching prospect in the majors who has the chance of becoming an ace. And right now, I mean, I feel like it's not too outlandish to say that he's the best pitcher on the team already. And it's just really exciting. Finally, it hasn't been since I'd say probably DeGrom or maybe Syndergaard that one of the Mets pitching prospects has come up and immediately come through for the team. So, hats off to McLean. I mean, some people are saying this is the most excited they've been about an arm since Matt Harvey, which says a lot. Also, shout out to the Citi Field crowd. They were locked in from the first pitch of the game. They've been showing out even with the team's struggles this summer. So it's been really fun. I know Steve Cohen put a heavy emphasis on improving team attendance this year, and they are in the top 5 in attendance. So shout out to them. And looking forward to whatever comes these last 5 weeks or so.
Yeah, I watched McLean's debut against Seattle. He was nasty. He was so darn good during that game.
Yeah, right. he's really insane. It's like he throws a wiffle ball.
It feels like it. Jeez. All right, can someone count me down?
Yeah, I got you. Your time starts in 3, 2, 1, begin.
So it was a sad day the other day for Mariner Baseball, releasing Dylan Moore. And look, I get it. I get why it happened. I understand that he needed to go. Does it hurt still as hell? Yeah, it does. This man has given so many incredible experiences for the team. I will never forget the grand slam against the Astros, the multiple walk-off hits, one of my personal favorite ones, and this one kind of gets put under the radar a little bit, it was that in Felix Hernandez's final game, he was in left field for that and made one of the best defensive catches I've ever seen from an outfielder. And I was close enough to it that I could see like the mark in the grass where he pushed off with his feet and basically made a divot in the ground here with that push off here because he just had so much power running for the ball and he made one of the greatest plays. And a lot of people told me or asking me, why was it not Solano? Why is Dylan Moore? Why was Dylan Moore gone? And I have to be honest, right? I have to be honest with myself. I took a look specifically at his stats here in 2025 because right now the team is competing for a championship. This team is trying to win. And you take a look at some of these stats, and it's honestly, it's sad. Because in April, the month of April, 68 at-bats had 18 hits. Batting 286. Solid. Not incredible, but solid. But an OPS of 930, which was amazing. 6 home runs in that month. He was lighting the world on fire. May started to cool off a little bit. 14 hits, couple home runs. Still drove in 7 runs. Took 5 walks. Had an OPS just under 700. So not the best, but definitely not horrid. What I'm about to say is something that hurts me to say, just in general. June, the entirety of the month of June, one hit. One hit. The entirety of the month of July, one hit. The entirety of the month of August, you guessed it, one hit. If you have an OPS, that is under 200 for a month, not a batting average, not a slugging, not an OBP, an OPS that is lower than 200 for a month, what are you doing? And I hate it because Dylan Moore knows like that he was struggling too. Demo knew that this was going, and he was beating himself up more than the fans were. And the fans, look, I'm not going to say anything good about y'all either because there was a lot of bad things being hurled at that man that he did not deserve. I will always remember and I always love Dylan Moore for the things he did give Seattle. He gave years of incredible play here where he was a Gold Glove winner, a defensive Mark McLemore level defensive player here, playing everywhere he needed to be, played every position, even learned how to play first just to be more usable. And I'm sure if you asked him to play catcher nicely, I'm pretty sure he'd say yeah. Even a pitch if you really needed him to. And it really hurt to see him go. Like, I understand he was struggling. That doesn't take away the pain of what it felt like, especially even more so knowing that it was the right move. So just, I want to. And it honestly hurts to see him go. And so while it might be a little cheesy, I guess, he was one of my favorites. Just the way he played the game was so much fun. Him stealing bases was incredible. I just want to give him, like, it's not, I know it's not a candle and I know it's not an actual lighter here, but just a little bit of a vigil for my man. Like, it sucks to see him go. I hope he catches on with the Rangers, but thank you to Dylan Moore.
Yes, I'm also a pyromaniac. Okay. I am also a pyromaniac there, Alex. I want to watch something burn. Not in my house or anything, but maybe I should watch The Dark Knight so Joker can burn the big pile of money again. Spoiler alert for a movie that's been out for 17 years now.
How dare you do a spoiler?
Yeah. Do you guys want to do a movie podcast instead of a baseball podcast?
Nope. Oh. I don't watch enough movies to do that.
Darn.
All right, but you know what we do a lot of here? We make a lot of content. We make a lot of podcasts for you once a week here. You can go follow all of them on Twitter here. We post every one of our podcasts there because we record for Spotify. It goes on to a bunch of other places, including YouTube. Hey, you can go follow us on Spotify here, Losses Above Replacement, and go give us a subscribe on YouTube. Here, Losses Above Replacement. You can like the video, make sure you subscribe, and click the little bell for notifications whenever we post our content here. You can also go follow us all individually on Twitter. You can go follow me at the Sports Guy 242. You can go follow Mac at Mathias_A_K, and you can go follow Splash at Mr. Splashman19. But from all of us here at Losses Above Replacement, thank you so much for your time today. Stay safe, and I hope to see you all real soon.